Once I figure out, like, again, more so their financials, like where do they need to be at, that's when I kind of go into, okay, let's look at the past 6 to 12 months, like what's been working, what hasn't been working. If they're brand new, then you kind of have like a blank sheet to play with. But I think it's also important to look at historical data to understand the role each platform has. So like what role does Facebook and Instagram have? What role does are they playing on TikTok or Pinterest? And then also like diving deeper here, email SMS, because that's also a huge portion. Like what percentage of revenue is email SMS? How big is that list? What are the opt-in rates? What's the cadence there? Because ultimately that can help determine where your Facebook performance needs to be at. Back to your point, Alex, is like if they're not purchasing on that first day and then maybe come back in 14 days, but they're purchasing through email SMS, then maybe it's something you start looking at, like opt-in rates or like the email signups for each campaign that you're pushing. Um, Again, there's more caveats for the business, but is that kind of like along your guys' second step when you're analyzing a business, looking at platforms, and how do you do that?
It's a good question. I think a lot of this is like it's really difficult is because especially from like the agency side, like most clients don't know what their targets need to be. And the ones that they pick are usually pretty far off of like what makes sense from like a platform perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that being said, like once you have a sense of the break even and then kind of build that relationship between what the platform says and what might actually be true of like your AMER, you're building that kind of relationship between Facebook and AMER. I don't know, we kind of go from there. But yeah, I think like to your point, I think where this gets so tricky is you know, email and LTV and all those things get people really super bogged down as opposed to just like picking a test that you feel confident in or several and like you have to run it because if you don't run it you just do nothing and then you make zero progress so, or you're like stressed out trying to figure out like well if I move $1 here or there that makes me my break even ROAS changes by point 0.2 so I
Mm-hmm.
think yeah that probably doesn't answer your question but I think a lot of people get caught up in just not testing by like not starting because of over analyzing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. And again, it's so nuanced with each business, right? Like your goals are going to be different. The way you approach things are going to be differently, but um, it is important to understand like the whole picture of what does paid media mean in the whole grand scheme of things.